It's 2 a.m. You're lying in bed replaying something you said at lunch today, over and over. Your brain won't let it go. Maybe it was that awkward pause when your coworker asked about your weekend, or the way you stumbled over your words when ordering coffee. If that's you, this video was made for you. I'm going to show you exactly why your brain does this to you. And more importantly, I'll give you 3 specific techniques to break this exhausting cycle. These aren't feel-good platitudes or generic advice. These are science-backed methods that actually work. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to stop your brain from turning every conversation into a late-night movie marathon. Let's dive in. First, let's talk about why this happens. Your brain isn't broken. It's actually doing exactly what it evolved to do. Thousands of years ago, being rejected by your social group meant death. Literally. No group meant no protection, no shared resources, no survival. So your brain developed this hyperactive social monitoring system. It replays conversations looking for threats to your social standing. Dr. Matthew Lieberman from UCLA calls this our social brain. It's the same neural network that activates when we're physically hurt. That's why social rejection actually feels painful. Your brain treats a weird look from a stranger the same way it treats a twisted ankle. But here's the problem. This system worked great when we lived in groups of 50 people. Now you interact with hundreds of people every week. Your social brain is overwhelmed. It's like having a smoke detector that goes off every time you make toast. The system is working, but it's working too hard. Now, let me give you 3 specific techniques to calm the system down. Technique number 1, the evidence audit. Here's how it works. When you catch yourself replaying a conversation, stop. Ask yourself this exact question. What actual evidence do I have that this went badly? Not feelings, evidence. Write down what actually happened. Let me give you an example. Last week, I was talking to my neighbor about our shared fence. I felt like I came across as pushy and annoying. My brain replayed it for hours. But when I did the evidence audit, here's what I found. He smiled when he saw me. He asked follow-up questions. He said, "Sounds good," at the end. He texted me later with contractor recommendations. The evidence showed the complete opposite of my fears. Your brain focuses on negative possibilities, not actual data. The evidence audit forces you to separate facts from fear. Try this next time your brain starts its replay session. You'll be surprised how often the evidence contradicts your anxiety. Technique number 2, the 24-hour rule. This one comes from research on memory consolidation. Here's what scientists discovered. Your brain's threat detection system is strongest in the first 24 hours after a social interaction. After that, it naturally starts to fade. But here's the key part. Every time you replay the conversation, you reset that 24-hour clock. You're essentially re-traumatizing yourself. So here's the rule. When you catch yourself replaying, say this. I'll think about this tomorrow if it still matters. Then do something that requires active attention. Call a friend. Do a crossword puzzle. Watch a YouTube video that makes you think. The goal is to interrupt the replay loop. Most of the time, you'll find that by tomorrow, the conversation doesn't feel important anymore. Your brain has moved on to newer threats, but you have to give it permission to do that. The 24-hour rule gives you that permission. Technique number 3, the perspective flip. This is the most powerful technique, but it takes practice. Here's how it works. Think about the last conversation someone else had with you that felt awkward to you. Take your time. Can't think of one? That's exactly the point. You don't remember other people's awkward moments. You're too busy worrying about your own. Everyone else is doing the same thing. Dr. Thomas Gilovich calls this the spotlight effect. We think everyone is paying attention to our mistakes, but research shows people notice and remember far less than we think. So here's the perspective flip. When you're replaying a conversation, imagine you're the other person. What would you be thinking about right now? Probably your own problems, your own awkward moments, your own social anxieties. Most people forget the details of conversations within hours. They're not lying awake analyzing your word choices. They're worried about their own. This isn't just a mental trick. It's based on how human attention actually works. We're all the main character in our own story, which means we're all bit players in everyone else's. Let me share a story that really drives this home. 5 years ago, I gave a presentation at work. I stumbled over a sentence in the middle. My face turned red. I was convinced everyone noticed. I replayed it for weeks. Last month, I ran into a coworker who was at that presentation. I mentioned how embarrassed I was about messing up. He had no idea what I was talking about. He didn't remember the mistake at all, but he remembered that the presentation was helpful. This happens over and over again. The things we obsess about are invisible to other people. Now, let me give you a bonus technique for putting all of this together. I call it the conversation close. At the end of each day, spend 2 minutes reviewing your social interactions. But here's the twist. Only look for evidence that things went well. What did people smile about? What questions did they ask? What positive responses did you get? Train your brain to notice social success instead of social threats. This isn't about being unrealistic. It's about balancing your brain's natural negative bias. Your threat detection system will always notice potential problems. You have to deliberately train yourself to notice the good stuff too. After 2 weeks of doing this, you'll start to see a shift. Your brain will still replay conversations, but it won't feel as intense or last as long. Here's what I want you to remember. Overthinking conversations is not a character flaw. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a normal function of a social brain living in a modern world. The goal isn't to stop caring about social interactions. The goal is to stop letting them control your mental peace. These techniques work because they address the root cause. They calm down your overactive social monitoring system. They give your brain permission to move on. But like any skill, they take practice. Don't expect perfection on day one. Start with just one technique. Use it consistently for a week. Then add the others. If this video helped you understand why your brain replays conversations, hit the like button. It tells YouTube to show this to other people who might need it too. And if you want more videos about managing social anxiety and overthinking, subscribe and ring the bell. I make new videos every week with specific science-backed techniques like these. Leave a comment below and tell me which technique you're going to try first. I read every comment and often reply. Remember, your brain is trying to protect you, but sometimes protection becomes prison. These techniques are your keys to freedom. You don't have to lie awake replaying every conversation you've ever had. You can choose to let them go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.